Tangy, a bit crunchy, and beautiful to look at, pickled red onions make a great topping for many foods. I'm Josh with Taste of Home, and today I'm going to be making pickled red onions. Now these pickled red onions are what we call quick pickled, so let me explain what that means. Unlike some pickling recipes that require a lengthy or maybe difficult canning process, these are quick, simple, and easy to throw together, and you can eat them within just a couple hours of finishing the recipe. They will adapt this beautiful red color as they sit in the brine and absorb some of that tangy flavor. You can even customize the flavors that you put in these pickled red onions. They will last for a couple weeks in your fridge, and they make a great topping to many of your favorite foods. I've already removed the papery outer skins of my red onion, and I'm just gonna chop this in half. I think this is easier to cut this way. And I'm gonna remove the little papery ends just like that. Now you can slice these onions any way you like, so if you prefer to leave them in rounds, that's just fine. You can also slice these thin or thick, whichever you like. If you do choose to slice them a little bit on the thicker side, just keep in mind that they will need to sit in the pickling brine a little bit longer before they're properly pickled. Now, if you don't have red onions on hand, you can use other varieties like yellow onions, white onions, even the white sturdy part of green onions or spring onions will work as well. But if you choose to use other onions, you'll lose out on the beautiful purple color that you get from using these red onions. So now the next step is simply to transfer these to a jar. So I'm just going to pack these in there nicely. And they should all fit if you've chosen the right size jar. Just like that. Now I'm going to customize the flavors that go into my pickled red onions. You can really use anything that you like, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy about cooking is that you can customize the flavors of your food. I'm going to be adding some black peppercorns, as one escapes right there. I'm going to add some nice savoriness with a garlic clove, and because I enjoy some spice, I'm going to add a little bit of a red chili pepper as well. And I'm just going to tuck everything into this jar. Now another great way to add flavor to your pickled red onions is to use some fresh herbs. Anything that you like, dill, rosemary, but I'm gonna use some fresh thyme because that's one of my favorites. And again, I'm just gonna tuck that in here. Some other great ideas as far as spices are something like mustard seed, traditional pickling spices if you like a bit of sweetness. And there you go. So now I'm gonna move on to making my brine. Now in a large bowl or in a liquid measuring cup like this Pyrex here, I'm going to add my water for my brine. And next I'm going to add my vinegars. Now this recipe calls for white wine or cider vinegar, both of which have great flavor. If you don't have any of those on hand, you can use a basic white vinegar too, but you'll miss out on some of the great flavors that the cider vinegar or the white wine vinegar have to offer. So I'm just gonna get my white vinegar in there, add that to my water. And next comes the salt and sugar. These are very simple ingredients to make this brine, which is again, what makes this recipe so easy to make and create. So I'm just gonna add some kosher salt. Now you can use sea salt as well, and if we were doing a traditional canned pickled recipe, you'd have to use canning salt. But because again, this is a quick pickle recipe, kosher salt or sea salt will work just fine. And next I'm gonna add my sugar, and the sugar just helps to balance out some of the tanginess that vinegar adds to my brine. So now I just have to whisk and whisk until all of this is dissolved. It's very important that everything's dissolved, the sugar and the salt, into my liquid so that it's evenly distributed in the pickling jar. As you can see, all of my salt and sugar has dissolved nicely into my brining liquid, and now all I have to do is add it to my jar with my red onions and my seasonings. Fill it all the way to the top. And I'm just going to top it with the lid, give it a good shake, make sure everything's evenly distributed inside that jar. And the final step is to allow these onions to sit on the counter at room temperature for 2 hours until they've absorbed some of that nice pickling brine flavor. Now that my pickled red onions are all done, the fun part is getting to eat them. Just remember, these are quick and easy to make. They're a beautiful topping to many foods, and they will last in your fridge for a couple of weeks. In front of me, I have just a few ideas of how you can use the pickled red onions on top of tacos, a great way to jazz up your morning toast, or even on top of your favorite hot dog. And I asked my team for how they like to use the pickled red onions, and I got so many responses I actually wrote them down because I knew I wouldn't be able to remember them all. So here it goes. Pizza, tuna poke on top of lox and bagels, on top of soup, burgers, wraps, sandwiches, scrambled eggs, nachos, any grilled meats, on a fresh salad, potato salad or tuna salad, pulled pork, barbecue ribs, brisket in guacamole, and even one enthusiast says as a snack by themselves. Thank you so much for following along. This is just the beginning of the world of pickling. We have so many great pickling recipes on the Taste of Home website, and I encourage you to check them all out.